salad.
Hey everyone, this is the movie Maniac. Thank you for watching and hello to new and returning subscribers. Today, we're going to take a look at Jurassic Park 3. It's crazy to think this movie is 19 years old. It was released in 2001, and it doesn't feel like it's been 19 years. I know a lot of you agree with me on that. You could sell me on it maybe being 12, but nearly 20 is crazy. At the time, the only other sequel we had was The Lost World, so this was up next, and we had nothing else to compare it to, unless, of course, you were comparing it to the classic original Jurassic Park movie, which I wouldn't recommend comparing the sequels to the original at this point, but to each their own. So one thing I want to tell you is that this movie moves along at a rapid pace, and it's a nice, tight 90-minute runtime. So, whether or not it's been ages since you've last seen it, or you're going to pop it in for the 5th or 6th viewing, it's easy to get sucked into. Unfortunately, we're given a lot of bad CG dinosaurs. Looking back on it, they almost look like PlayStation 3 graphics. It's a real shame, and this is a major problem with a lot of CG from the 90s and the very early 2000s. Hell, you still even see some examples of it, but this doesn't hold up. Now, I need to quickly point out the practical effects in this movie do look pretty good, and they should have gone practical even more. I think it would have stood the test of time a little bit better that way. I love how Sam Neill and Laura Dern are back in this movie. I love how it's a little bit more just stripped down and straight to the point this time around. We're not getting lost in too much plot. We go to the island, we have our fun, we get off the island, and that's the movie. I will say, though, there is the mistake of spending too much time with this family unit that just doesn't register. I didn't care at all, really, the entire time. Okay, you're going there to find the character William H. Macy is playing son. I get it. Good. Okay, his ex-wife's there. Just, by the way, make her the wife and just get it over with. That way you don't have to have that stupid subplot about them starting to like each other again and all this. There was just a lot of corny moments in Jurassic Park 3, and they really stood out to me this time around. Corny to the point where it started to take away from my experience and investment with this film. Something I noticed this time around were just how many shots had this made-for-TV look to them, which really cheapens the overall experience. I can't quite pinpoint what exactly gives it that look, but the one thing I noticed whenever I had this feeling was that the way they set up the light coming through the leaves, and it looked artificial, but I noticed every time I thought this looked really made for sci-fi TV, it always had that kind of lighting going on. And there are segments of this film where you don't sense that, but it's also there quite a bit too. When I first saw this in theaters, I had a blast. I gave this a 7.5. I thought it was better than The Lost World. I was so thrilled with what we were working with here. And as a Jurassic Park fan myself, it felt like it was the redeeming sequel. I held on to that opinion for many years after. And it wasn't until the past maybe 6 or 7 I watched it again and I thought, okay, well, maybe it's not a 7.5, but I'll bump it down to a 7.
Well,
after this latest viewing, guys, I'm going to give Jurassic Park 3 a 6 out of 10. This really struck me as a mediocre picture. Maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace to sit down and watch it. Maybe time just hasn't treated this sequel well. I know it's always been polarizing. There's been fans that champion this and there's ones that hate it. But I've always said that this was really good. Obviously, I've never thought it was great. But for Jurassic Park 3, I've been on the team that recommended it. After that viewing last night, if that's how I feel about it now, I don't think I'm able to. And it's a little heartbreaking, which I know sounds extreme, but my love for the original Jurassic Park, wow, that was the movie that got me to first pick up a camera at 6 years old and find a friend of mine to shoot a movie with. I mean, that's how inspiring that first movie was to me at an extremely young age, a little child at 6 years old. So I always want to enjoy a Jurassic Park sequel, and that's another factor. I wonder how much Jurassic World, the one from 2015, has played in going back and watching Jurassic Park 2 and 3, because I think it just blows Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 out of the water. And back when I saw Jurassic Park 3, that was all we had for many years. So it's probably a lot of different things. I've gone over most of them in this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I didn't expect this to happen when I went back to revisit it. I thought it was going to be in for a good big budget B movie. I don't know. It's not registering with me like it used to. All right, guys, let me know again where you are in Jurassic Park 3 because I know everyone seems to have a different opinion on this movie. And to everyone out there, make sure to smash that notification bell, like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay inside the mind of a movie maniac.